You were raised to be exploited. Your shyness wasn't weakness, it was installed. They trained you to shrink, to hesitate, to hand over power without a fight. And you still do it. Your father didn't destroy your confidence by accident. He built a machine. Every time he screamed, every time he called you worthless, every time neighbors laughed, they weren't reacting to who you were. They were installing who you'd become. Shyness isn't genetic. It's engineered. You were conditioned to freeze when authority speaks, to second-guess before you act, to swallow your instinct and defer to someone louder, angrier, more certain. This wasn't cruelty for cruelty's sake. It was domestication. They needed you quiet. They needed you manageable. A son who questions nothing. An employee who accepts everything. A citizen who obeys. The businessman didn't want a rival. He wanted an asset. So he broke the boy down until hesitation became reflex, until silence became safety, until the mere thought of resistance triggered panic. And it worked. The boy handed over the entire stock to strangers because challenging their story felt more dangerous than losing everything. That's not stupidity. That's training. His nervous system had been rewired to prioritize compliance over survival. You recognize this because you live it. Every time you don't speak up in a meeting. Every time you let someone cut in line. Every time you smile when you should have said no. You think it's your nature. It's your cage. Silence isn't free. You pay for it every single day. The boy lost an entire shop's inventory in one afternoon. Not because he was stupid, because he had been trained to absorb loss rather than create conflict. Predators don't target the strong. They target the hesitant. And hesitation is a language spoken through posture, eye contact, response time, vocal tonality. You broadcast it constantly. When you pause too long before answering, you signal uncertainty. When you apologize before speaking, you signal submission. When you avoid eye contact, you signal availability for exploitation. These aren't subtle cues. They're automated selection mechanisms. The con man, the manipulator, the opportunist, they've spent years learning to read them. You think you're being polite. They see a transaction opportunity, every unpaid favor, every boundary you didn't enforce, every time someone borrowed something and never returned it, every promotion that went to the louder colleague, every conversation where you said, "It's fine," when it absolutely wasn't. That's the tax. The world doesn't reward silence with safety. It rewards it with extraction. You've been paying this tax so long you don't even notice the withdrawals anymore. You think it's normal. You think everyone experiences this. They don't. Only the ones who were trained to accept it. The silence tax compounds daily, and you're bankrupt. There are 3 ways you give yourself away. 3 patterns of behavioral surrender. You've cycled through all of them. The apologizer arrives to every interaction pre-defeated. Sorry to bother you. This might be stupid, but I could be wrong. You're not seeking forgiveness. You're preemptively validating their dominance. You apologize for occupying space, for having needs, for existing at a volume above whisper. This isn't humility. It's advance payment for permission to speak. The apologizer never gets interrupted because they interrupt themselves first. The freezer is the boy at the shop, watching strangers load salt into carts while his mouth refuses to form words. The freezer knows something is wrong. Their instinct screams, but the body won't respond. They stand paralyzed while opportunities close, while threats materialize, while others make decisions on their behalf. The freezer doesn't lack intelligence. They lack override capability. Their nervous system has been trained that action is more dangerous than loss. The invisible has perfected the art of non-presence. They don't freeze. They simply never enter the room. No opinions in meetings. No presence at social events. No claim to space, credit, or acknowledgement. The invisible believes they're protecting themselves through strategic absence. They're not. They're erasing themselves from the selection pool entirely. No risk, no reward, no existence. You've been all 3, sometimes in the same day. Each archetype loses differently, but the outcome is identical. You are acted upon, never acting. You're not a player. You're a resource. The men who walked into that shop didn't choose it randomly. They scanned for compliance markers and found a perfect match. Predators are pattern recognition machines. They've spent lifetimes identifying soft targets, not through malice, but through economic efficiency. Why waste energy on someone who'll resist when there's someone who'll simply hand it over? In nature, the lion doesn't chase the healthy gazelle. It tracks the one with the limp, the hesitation, the behavioral tell that signals easy kill. Your limp is psychological. Your hesitation is social, and they see it instantly. The boy's body language said, "I won't fight back." His eye contact said, "I'm uncertain." His response time said, "I can be rushed into decisions." These aren't subtle. They're fluorescent. Historically, this dynamic is constant. The merchant without guards gets robbed. The kingdom without walls gets invaded. The individual without boundaries gets exploited. This isn't injustice. It's selection pressure. You think they're cruel. They think you're volunteering. Every time you've been taken advantage of, you told yourself it was bad luck. It wasn't. You were selected. Your behavior is a beacon that says extraction available here. And they will keep coming until you turn off the signal. The old man didn't offer therapy. He offered systematic desensitization through forced exposure. 3 days, 3 tasks, each one surgically designed to short-circuit a specific fear response. Day 1, speak to strangers. Not to make friends, to normalize rejection. Some ignored him. Some walked away. And he survived. The task wasn't about connection. It was about proving that social rejection doesn't kill you. His nervous system needed data. Discomfort is not danger. Day 2, teach without credentials. This was the critical blow. He believed his value required external validation, degrees, expertise, permission. The old man stripped that lie away. The children didn't know he was uneducated. They only knew what he presented. This taught him the brutal truth. Authority is performed, not earned. Day 3, face the original source. Return to the father. Confront the architect of the fear. This wasn't about reconciliation. It was about reclaiming stolen ground. The boy had to prove to himself that the father's rage was survivable, that disapproval wasn't death. The boy didn't transform. He reprogrammed. This isn't motivation. It's behavioral reconditioning. You don't build confidence by reading about it. You build it by deliberately entering the situations that trigger your compliance reflex and staying there until the reflex breaks. Small, repeatable, escalating exposure. He shy boy didn't grow up. He died. Confidence isn't discovered. It's excavated from the corpse of your former identity. You don't add strength to weakness. You amputate the weak parts entirely. That boy who froze at the shop, who apologized for existing, who handed over everything without question, he had to be executed. Not metaphorically, psychologically, permanently. The old man didn't help him improve. He helped him murder the version of himself that served everyone else's agenda. This is why most people never change. They try to negotiate with their fear. They try to work on their confidence while keeping the fearful identity intact. It doesn't work. You can't be both. One must die for the other to live. The father gave him another chance not because the boy apologized, but because he recognized a different person standing in front of him. The energy shifted. The posture changed. The voice carried weight it didn't have before. That's not growth. That's replacement that you're still trying to improve the weak version of yourself. Stop. That version exists to be consumed by others. It has no future, no potential, no path forward. Kill it. Burn the identity. Build from the ashes. Sentiment is surrender. Most of you will do nothing with this information. You'll nod. You'll recognize yourself in every chapter. You'll feel the sting of truth. And then you'll close this video and return to exactly who you were 5 minutes ago. That's the filter working. The world needs compliant people. It needs those who apologize, freeze, and fade. It needs resources that don't resist extraction. If everyone acted, the entire power structure would collapse. So the majority self-select into passivity. They choose comfort over sovereignty. You're being given a choice right now. Execute the fearful self and rebuild, or remain prey. There's no middle ground. No gradual improvement. No safe transition. You either act decisively or you confirm your position in the hierarchy. The boy stood at the river's edge ready to die. Then he chose differently. Not because he felt ready. Not because he was confident. Because inaction guaranteed the outcome he feared most. You're at the same edge. The ones who act will shift the power dynamic permanently. The ones who don't will spend the next decade wondering why nothing changes. The world divides into 2 categories, those who take and those who are taken from. Choose.